Sanders, you're ready as well?
I am, Ms.
Okay.
April.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself. Good morning, Mr. Dutcher.
Good morning, Mr. Dutcher.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning.
Please make sure your phone, you're on mute. We have a lot of people online. Judge, we're gonna start with position 2. Who is that speaking? Ms. Sanders, you ready?
I am.
Okay. Judge, you ready?
Yes.
This is position 2, State of Georgia versus Patrick Curry. Case number 20 CP 193316.
Okay. It's an emergency motion for bond. Tell me about that, counsel, please.
Yes, sir. We filed an initial motion and then we filed another motion. He'd been in jail 7.5 months. We had called on February the 5th. He had reported to me and his mother that he had COVID symptoms. And so we called Fulton jail officials who then tested him, and he did. And of course, all they did was isolate him. Apparently they did give him some medicine for 2 days, but now he's back in his own cell and he has pretty severe symptoms for somebody his age. He's coughing up blood and has the other symptoms. This is a murder case, but we did already file an immunity motion. This is a case where he was with his mother and his 2 sisters at a restaurant in downtown Atlanta on Peter Street, a lady gang. And this other gentleman came up behind him to rob him. And Patrick Curry had a gun in his jacket pocket. He pulled it out and shot the guy first. And the other guy's gun was found at the scene on the ground. He had it out, pointing it at Patrick Curry. And again, we have his 2 sisters are eyewitnesses. The mother was there and was watching, but she couldn't see all what was going on because she was sitting in the car, which was parked up the street about 1 block. But anyway, so.
Did he know the alleged armed robber?
It was stranger on stranger. He was up here. They live here in Douglasville now, but at the time, the family lived in Mississippi. And they were up here visiting. They have many relatives in the Atlanta area, and they're up here visiting those relatives. And they went to this restaurant, got put on the waiting list, went outside to wait till they got called. And that's when somebody approached Mr. Curry from behind and tried to rob him.
What is his record, if any?
He has a pending, we think that's already been dismissed. But after he got put in the Fulton jail, he had been a passenger in a car where misdemeanor marijuana was found in Mississippi. We think they did charge him, but they never arrested him. And now the charges don't show up anywhere. He's never been arrested, but the driver of the car, I assume, was charged with misdemeanor marijuana. And Mississippi people have not been too open with me, even though I've made calls and the mother's made calls. But at the worst, it's a misdemeanor marijuana pending charge.
Mr. Dutcher, is this your case?
Yes, Judge, I'm standing in to handle the bond hearing this morning.
Well, let me ask you this. If in fact the facts are as counsel says, was there a gun found on the alleged victim?
Judge, I think that ultimately it will show that there was a gun found at the scene, but it may not have been the victim's gun. But that's not to say that the victim didn't have a gun. I let defense counsel make his presentation. I will say this, generally the facts and the merits of the case aren't a proper consideration for granting or denying bond. I understand it's helpful to help calibrate our interests. The main purpose is making sure that he will return to court if granted a bond. So my understanding is Your Honor heard this case back in September of 2020 and denied bond. I read defense counsel's motion where it alleges that at the prior bond hearing, the state erroneously or falsely, as I think it's characterized in the bond motion, told the court that the defendant's mother and sister had refused to provide a statement. Obviously, being a little concerned about the allegation that the state made a false representation in court, I contacted the lead detective, Detective Meester with the Atlanta Police Department to, I guess, verify exactly what was going on with the case. So I understand that we have a version of what happened from the defense, but what I expect the evidence to show, and we'll probably wind up disagreeing about this and litigate it at some point, is that the defendant is from out of state, Mississippi. I agree with defense counsel's characterization that he at least has a prior citation for some misdemeanor in Mississippi for possession of marijuana. It does show up on the GCIC that I've been provided. I believe it was from, I can check it right now.
Make sure you stress that I'm never moved here.
It was in Gulfport, Mississippi on March 13th of 2020, according to this. But it, it shows pending and, just for the, and it's a misdemeanor marijuana charge. I'm not trying to say that that carries a whole lot of weight in terms of whether he's a risk to reoffend. But he does have, I guess for purposes of, characterizing his bond risk, he's a multi-state offender. Additionally, what I understand from the allegations that have been represented to me by the detective in my brief review of the file is that the defendant was down in the Peter Street area, Castleberry Hill, just a short distance from the courthouse with his family. They got on a waiting list for a restaurant, and he decided, according to his own statement that he later gave, to arm himself with his mother's gun and walk around the Peter Street area. There is a conflict in the evidence from what the defendant says and what the victim and another person who was with the victim said. According to the victim, the defendant approached them and asked if he could purchase some weed. And then allegedly, when they rebuffed his request to buy marijuana, he raised his shirt and exposed the handle of his pistol. That later led to a dispute in which the victim was shot multiple times. Now, at the time, the defendant jumped into the car, either driven by his mother or his sister. I can't recall off the top of my head which one, and fled the scene. Detectives were able to track the vehicle, I guess, through license plate readers and other investigative techniques to a house in Lawrenceville. A couple of days later, none of them called 911. None of them reported the incident to the police. None of them stayed on scene. And when they found the vehicle, it was kind of concealed next to a residence up in Lawrenceville, and the license plate had been removed. Now, as for the allegation that the detective did not interview or seek to take a statement from the defendant's family members who were present, during part of this incident, I would submit that the detective did attempt to do that at the scene. And initially, the people there said that they didn't know anything about what had happened and denied knowledge. And then as the detectives progressed and began seeking search warrants for the residents, some of those family members, I would say, acted very inappropriately toward the police, telling them that they hoped that they died and that they hoped someone put a bullet in their head. So apparently there's body cam footage of this, and people from the Gwinnett Police Department that were present during all of this. And this is what the detective told me when I spoke to him last week. So it seems to me that that would create an additional risk that the defendant, having out-of-state ties, is not going to be in the hands of people that would have an interest in him returning to court, because they initially fled the scene, attempted to conceal him, and then acted in that manner when the police responded to the scene. So I would say that they did take a statement from the people that were connected, and that was the statement they got. And in fact, they were directed to an attorney in Mississippi The detective reached out to that attorney and never heard anything after that.
Well, that's certainly a big difference of opinion of the evidence, because you're saying that immediately after the shooting that the family fled the scene.
They did. I think that's undisputed. That the defendant jumped into the car being driven by his family members and immediately fled the scene.
That's correct, Your Honor. The mother drove away as soon as he got in the car. He asked her to stay, but there's nothing to these threats. And there's only one meeting. Demester goes to her house in Douglasville or Lawrenceville?
Lawrenceville.
In Lawrenceville, looking
My
for,
auntie house.
and he's there.
was my
Patrick
auntie
Curry
house.
is there.
Was my-
And Demester said, I'll come back later and get your statements. He talked, that's the only time he had a chance to talk to the mother, and he didn't talk to her, he didn't get a statement. He said he'll be back, and he never came back. They, you know, she never, she's here, she can testify. They never made any threats to the officer, and I believe that the mother, Tanisha Curry, is the only one that the detective talked to in Lawrenceville. So I don't.
And I have it,
Mr. Dutcher, do you know who allegedly made these threats?
from my understanding from Detective Demester, it was a younger person, possibly his sister. There, according to him, there is body cam footage, you know, of a lot of the interaction. I haven't reviewed it myself. I'm going off of representations that he's made to me. But my
So your position, Mr. Dutcher, is this was a drug deal gone bad, that he
Well-
wanted some drugs, and then when they didn't give them to him, he shot
Well, I think possibly, yes. But I think that the facts as they've been relayed to me is that this young man armed himself with a pistol and began walking around our city streets, engaged in a conversation with the victim and his friend. There was some discussion of marijuana. I think that the two, it wasn't a friendly exchange, probably from both sides. And then later there was a reinitiation between the two, and that's when the shooting happened. So I don't know if I would necessarily characterize it as a drug deal gone wrong, maybe quasi, since that's the information, but maybe some sort of disrespect between the two was the catalyst of this. I now have to dig into it more once I see the file, but that's how it was relayed to me when I talked to the detective.
Counsel, do you have any witnesses you want to put up?
Yes, Your Honor. His mother's here. Her name is Tanisha Curry, and she was at the scene. So that's her.
I'm in court.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth? So help you God?
Yes.
Okay. State your name.
Tanisha Curry.
Okay. And you are the mother of Patrick Curry?
Yes.
Were you with him on the day this occurred?
Yes.
Could you just give us a short version of why you were there and what you were doing? You were an old lady gang?
Yes. Well, we came down out of town to come shopping and eating. We was on a 2-hour wait to go to the restaurant to eat. By that time, Patrick and his sister walked down the street to try to rent a scooter. Once his debit card did not work, he was walking back to the car. As he's walking back to the car, you can see that a grown man is running up on him as if he's trying to hug or kiss him. That's when altercation happened. Yes, he did jump in the car. Yes, we did leave. I was scared to death. I did not know what to do. I didn't know if somebody was going to try to hurt the rest of us. So
Okay.
yes, we did leave.
Okay. And does Patrick live with you?
Yes.
Okay. And if he made bond, would he be living with you? Where would he live with you now?
244, give the address.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, 2447 Brick Lane
In Douglasville, Georgia?
in Douglasville, yes.
Okay.
We have since then relocated to Douglasville because
Okay.
of this incident.
And you live with your sister?
Yes,
Okay.
and my other 3 kids.
All right. And so you were at the scene, but you didn't actually see the shooting. Would that be correct to say?
Exactly.
Okay. And has he ever been in trouble other than this
No, he's never been in trouble.
misdemeanor marijuana case, which,
No, he's never been in trouble. He's never even got suspended from high school.
did he graduate from high school?
Yes.
When did he graduate?
2018.
And has he been working?
Yes, prior to this incident, he had 2 full-time jobs that he had been on. One was he been on for a year. The other one he had just started working maybe 5 months before then.
Okay, and can you guarantee this court that if he was allowed bond, that he would make all his court appearances and stay out of
Yes, he
trouble?
will make all his court appearances. He has no choice.
Okay.
I mean, I'm paying a lawyer right now, so there's no point of him running from this incident. I would not let him run from this incident.
That's all I have.
Mr. Dutcher?
Yes. Good morning, ma'am. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Wrap off. She's on wrap off.
Good morning.
Okay. So the gun that your son had, where did he get that?
He got it out of my car.
Okay. When did he get it out of your car?
That I don't know.
Like, why did he get it out of your car?
I'm assuming because we was in a new place and I guess everybody's robbed on that street. That's the street known for people to get robbed because it's a tourist area.
Okay. So did you know he got it out of your car before the shooting or after the shooting?
After.
So did you give him permission to get your gun?
No.
Okay, why not?
I didn't know that he didn't ask me to get it. So I can't give him permission if he didn't ask. Because as they're going to go try to rent the scooters, me and my daughters went inside the restaurant to use the bathroom. So we kind of like part ways, but we got directly back in the car, like maybe after 5 or 10 minutes of using the restaurant.
Okay. Does he usually carry your gun? Has he ever used it before?
No, sir.
So this was the only time that he did it, and he did it without your knowledge?
Right.
Okay. What kind of gun is it?
It was what kind of gun was that, y'all?
You don't ask your daughter. If you don't know, say you don't know.
Oh, I know it was a Glock. I only said Glock 40. I just don't know the actual name of it.
Where is it now?
I have the receipt. When the detectives took my car, my gun was in my car.
Okay, so the police have it?
Yes, sir.
So you knew that your son had shot somebody, correct?
Correct.
All right, and then who was driving the car as he fled the scene?
Me.
So you drove.
Yes.
And why you didn't call the police, correct?
Correct.
You didn't call 911, right?
Correct.
All right, and then the police showed up at your house a couple days later?
No, sir. They showed up at my aunt's house the next morning.
Okay, and that's the house in Lawrenceville?
Yes, sir.
All right. So you, why didn't you ever contact authorities to report what had happened?
I was scared to death and I didn't know what to do.
Okay. The incident was actually reported on the news, right?
You said, was it reported on the news?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not sure.
Okay. You guys don't remember seeing it on the news or your son seeing it on the news?
No, we didn't see it on the news at all.
Okay. Who removed the license plate from the car that you were driving as you fled the scene?
You said, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Who removed the license plate from the car that you were driving when you fled the scene?
I don't know. When the police came to the house, they said that my car was stolen. When we went out there, my license plate was removed from the car.
Okay. Who removed it?
I have no idea. It wasn't removed when we left the scene.
Right, but someone removed it, right?
You said, did somebody remove it?
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge. I didn't find out it was removed until the police was beating on the door the next morning.
Okay. And who is that? Your car or your sister's car?
It's my car.
Okay, it's your car.
Car.
All right. So you're telling me that you have no knowledge of it being removed. You just know it was removed and you don't know when?
No, sir.
Okay. And is it fair to say that the car was backed in somewhere next to the house?
The car was in the driveway in front of the house.
Okay. Now, when the police arrived, you are present. Did you initially deny to Detective DeMeester that you knew anything about the shooting?
No. He didn't even ask me. Really, he was asking my aunt what was going on, and
Mhm.
it was really asking people that did not know what was going on because my aunt had no knowledge of anything.
So is it your testimony under oath here today that you did not speak to Detective Demeester or deny knowing about the case?
What is he saying? I'm confused. Say that again.
Is it your testimony today under oath that you did not tell Detective Demeester that you didn't know anything about what happened?
No, I didn't tell him that. He didn't get a statement from me.
Were you present when they were searching the house?
Yes.
Okay.
When they were searching the house for Patrick, or
because they brought a search.
At a time.
Go ahead.
when they first got there, they were searching the house then, but then hours later, they had to come back and research the house because they had to get a search warrant. They searched the house first, and then they came back. They searched it twice.
Were you there for both of those incidents?
No, the second time I wasn't.
Okay. And in the car with you when you fled the scene, were your daughters with you?
Yes, sir.
All right. And how many? Two?
Yes.
All right. What are their ages?
18 and 17.
Okay. And were they present when the police arrived?
Yes.
Okay. And were you in their presence when the police arrived?
Yes.
Okay. Did you observe them making any comments or statements to the police while you were there?
No, sir. They didn't make any statements to the police.
Okay. So is it your testimony under oath that they did not say anything like, I hope you die, or I hope make any threatening comments toward the police or disparaging comments toward the police?
I
mean, you were in their presence, correct?
Correct. Well, I was between inside and outside. Outside with Patrick, inside with the girls. But I think my daughter was screaming some absurd words, but I can't remember what she was saying.
Okay, well, explain that a little bit.
They speak with her, and she just went to cursing and saying a lot of stuff. So okay. I don't know if she did or she didn't say it.
All right, but you would say that it wouldn't be necessarily inaccurate. You would concede that she was using inappropriate language toward the police.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You would agree that she was using inappropriate language toward the police?
Yes.
All right. What, if anything, did you do to address that? What, if anything, did you do to address that as her parent?
I calmed her down and told her to be quiet and don't say anything.
All right. And how many other officers were there? Do you know? Were there officers from multiple agencies there?
I have no idea. I think they was all from the same agency.
Okay.
I was in Gwinnett County.
You're aware that the incidents that you're describing could be recorded on body cam footage. You understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What brought you to Georgia from Mississippi? Is that where you're from?
Yes.
What brought you here?
I have family here. I have family on my dad's side and my mom's side.
Okay. Are you working here?
Yeah, now I am.
All right. And what about Mr. Curry, your son? Was he working? What was he doing when you got?
He was working, but he wasn't working here. Like I said, we was on vacation. I was taking him shopping and eating. I had got like a little check from my job or whatever, and we was just gonna go enjoy ourselves. Come enjoy ourselves.
So what's Mr. Curry? What's your son going to be doing? What's he going to be doing here?
Oh, he's going to get a job and he's going to work.
Okay. Does he have a job lined up?
Yes.
Where?
Well, he's going to be working at the airport with my cousin. If he has to live in Georgia, that's why we've moved to Georgia, but he already had 2 jobs. They was on hold for him in Mississippi. But since we don't think that he's gonna be able to go back to Mississippi, now we have other options for my cousins to help him get jobs.
Okay. Do you know if he would be eligible to work at the airport with the pending murder charge?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
As long as you're not convicted, then that's okay. Then he'll be able to work there. As long as it's pending and he's not convicted.
Okay. Do you know that, or?
Yes, I do. That's what my cousin have told me. And he's been working at the airport for a while.
Okay, but he's not the hiring authority. He's just an
No,
employee.
sir. He's not the hiring.
Okay. Gotcha. That's all I have right now, Judge.
Counsel, do you have any more witnesses?
I could put up his sister's here, who was an eyewitness, who was with him to the actual shooting happened, but
Did the sister that was an eyewitness give a detailed statement to the police?
no, they never talked to her, Your Honor. They've never.
Mr. Dutcher, you dispute that?
Yeah, I mean, I stand on the representations that I've made before, after my interview with the homicide detective. The accounts that the court is getting is different than what I've been hearing and what I've been told by the detective. It's my understanding there was an attempt to speak and a request to speak, and the detective was directed to a lawyer in Mississippi. He reached out to that lawyer and requested to set up a meeting and never heard anything back. And
Counsel, is there a detailed statement that the sisters, the daughters, gave to the detectives in this case? I mean, is there any dispute that the detectives knew that they were present along with their mother for the incident?
No, I don't think that is disputed. I think it is known and undisputed that the detectives knew that the defendant's mother and sisters were at least present in the car and may not have been a direct witness to the crime, but were definitely witnesses to circumstances surrounding the crime. But since they haven't had an opportunity to, and their attempts to have been met with what I would say lack of cooperation, they haven't had the opportunity to do that.
I have offered at the last bond hearing and subsequently that they would be willing to make statements. Nobody's ever contacted me. I do understand.
Are the daughters denying that they made any derogatory, threatening comments to the police?
I've just heard that the first time today, so I've never asked them.
All right, where are the daughters? Are they in the room?
They're right here, Your Honor.
All right, we'll put them under oath.
Okay. Mary Ann first, can you, is that on you? There's the two daughters together. Mary Ann on the, my right. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you have to give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you with your brother?
She needs to state her name. She needs to state her name, so I have it for the record.
State your name for the record.
My name is Mariana Curry.
And you're the sister of Patrick?
Yes, sir.
And how old are you?
18.
Okay. And were you with Patrick the day this happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you an eyewitness?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you, when the officers came to Lawrenceville to arrest your brother, were you there?
Yes, sir.
Did you make any disparaging comments to the police?
Yes, sir.
What did you say?
I can't really remember. It was about 6 months ago, but I remember saying those type of comments, but I don't remember what I said.
You just got.
I said something. I was mad. They was trying to question me and stuff.
Okay. Where were you when you made these comments?
I was in the house.
Okay, so you weren't in their face or anything like that.
They were
Correct.
outside. I was in the house.
Right. Okay. All right. And okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Dutcher?
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hang on. Sorry, Judge, 1 second. I'm supposed to be in Judge Cox in a minute, and I just want to tell him. All right. Good morning. So you would agree that you wouldn't disagree that you told the police that you hoped that someone put a bullet in their head?
I disagree with that.
You would disagree with that? Okay. Why would you disagree with that? Earlier, you said that you couldn't quite remember what you said. So why are you
It's
disagreeing?
kind of harsh.
What's that?
I don't remember saying that. I mean, if I
Well,
said,
Go ahead.
yeah, I remember saying that.
Okay. And did I hear you say that someone was pushing you? Did you say earlier that someone was pushing you?
Who pushed me?
I'm asking you, did you say that earlier?
Can you please elaborate more? I don't remember saying that.
When you were answering defense counsel's questions, and he was asking you about making disparaging comments to the police, I thought I heard you say that they were pushing on you. Did you say that?
You must heard wrong. I didn't say that, sir.
Okay, well, are you saying that the police pushed you or did anything appropriate towards you?
No, I didn't say that.
I am asking you, did they?
I'm saying I didn't say that. No, sir.
Okay, I'm just asking you, it's not a trick question. Are you saying that the police did anything inappropriate towards you?
No, sir, I didn't say that.
Okay, so that's a no, they did not do anything inappropriate towards you?
No, yeah, I didn't say that.
Okay. And you understand that you're under oath now and there is a penalty for perjury, right?
Yes, sir, I'm aware of it.
Okay. So if there is video footage of you saying those things, what would you say about that?
I say then I said it. If it's video of me saying something, then
Okay.
it's video of me saying something.
Well, we're here before Judge
I
Schwall.
have video. I'm pretty sure every officer has a camera on it. I call it.
All right, is there any further witnesses you have, counsel?
But I'm sorry, Judge. Did we lose him? I think we might have lost him.
You did.
Oh, well.
Ms. Woods?
Maybe he'll rejoin.
Yes, Judge. Maybe he'll rejoin in a moment.
Sorry for dragging it out, Judge. Our first time I have an opportunity to talk to him.
All right, can we do anything on Mr. Granville's case?
Yes, we can. It looks like Miss McCauley was in here. I'm not sure if she's still in here.
Ms. McCauley?
Yes, Judge. Hi, how are you? I haven't
Good
seen you in
morning.
a
I haven't
while.
seen any of y'all in a long time.
I know, we miss you.
Well, I miss
and
y'all.
we miss your Waffle House stories. Anyway, I am prepared to go forward for Mr. Mitchell. I did communicate with Mr. Granville. He did not actually file his copy of the motion, and I don't see where it was served on the district attorney's office, but nevertheless, I did have an opportunity to review it this morning, so I'm prepared to go forward with that hearing.
He wants to travel out of state for his trucking business.
Correct.
Does he have a record?
No, I actually do not believe that he does have a record.
He has no priors, Your Honor.
Tell me, not that it's totally relevant, what are the allegations?
The allegations are that he abused and I'm going to pull up the report so I get the age correct for the court, a minor child around the age of 6 years old at her grandfather's home. It was not related to his trucking business, and the child made an immediate outcry.
But he's been allowed to travel throughout Georgia.
He has been allowed to travel throughout Georgia. That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Granville, you're saying that his income's been cut significantly?
Yeah, by 50%, Your Honor. In the 5 months preceding his arrest, his income, let me get the exact number for you, Your Honor, was $61,751 in the 5 months preceding his arrest. And in the 5 months following his release on bond, his income is.
What were I'm sorry for interrupting you. What were the conditions on his bond? $20,000?
$20,000 bond, and then he could travel within the state of Georgia. And that
was modified once to do that.
Yes, and that was consented by the state, Your Honor. My client thought he could probably maintain his business traveling within the state. And since the 5 years.
I would consider this.
Okay.
He'd surrender his passport.
Okay.
Wear an ankle monitor. And not leave the 48 contiguous United States.
Fair enough, Your Honor.
Is that something, Ms. McCauley, that you necessarily can't consent to but won't object to?
I'm not going to object to that, Your Honor, but I would add an additional request for the court. The defendant is reporting to pretrial services, so the state would request that if he does have out-of-state travel, that he does provide his travel schedule to pretrial services.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Granville, you'll submit me an order to that effect?
Yes, Your Honor. It was surrender his passport, where ankle monitor, and he could travel within the 48 states.
Right.
And was there anything else I missed, Your Honor?
That's it.
He needs to provide notice to
travel itinerary.
I didn't hear any of that. One more time.
He'd submit a travel itinerary every week to pretrial services. Okay? Is that it for you, Ms. McCauley?
That's fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good day there.
Well,
Okay?
Your Honor, it was two other matters I wanted to bring before the court. My client has two family obligations. He's requesting your permission to travel. One is, let me get the exact dates, from June 20th through June 26th. His daughter received her master's degree, so they have a celebration in the Caribbean, and he wants to get permission to do that. So with the passport surrender, that may be an issue. And then, well, actually with the second trip as well, is a family reunion that he wanted to attend in August in Mexico, Your Honor.
I can't let that happen. Be Ms. McCauley, you're going to object to that.
I'm definitely going to object. Your Honor.
I can't agree to that. I'm going to help him make a living, but I can't do that.
Okay, Your Honor.
I'll let him go anywhere else in the 48 United States to have that celebration.
Okay.
I'll let him do that, but we can't leave the country without a passport.
Absolutely.
So surrender the passport to who, Ms. McCauley, or to pretrial?
Pretrial services, Your Honor.
All right, so let's do that. And then he can do all of this once we have the passport, the travel itinerary, and the ankle monitor. And it's his expense. Okay?
Absolutely.
Let's come back to the Curry case. Good to see y'all.
I'm sorry, my computer died and I had to
No, that's all right.
pull up on a new computer.
All right. Mr. Dutcher.
Yes, Judge, and I should also let the court know that the homicide victim's family is also here in court today. The homicide victim is Mr. Jamel Boyer. I believe his family is on the Zoom call.
Where is the family?
They're on the Zoom call.
Ms. Boyer, I'm very sorry for your loss. And Ms. Boyer, how are y'all related to the victim?
I think it's his mother that is on.
Please unmute.
That's our son.
Father.
I'm sorry, the victim is my son. Who need you to talk for me?
I said our son.
Okay, you're Mr. Boyer. Okay. I'm very sorry for your loss.
Thank you, sir.
Tell me what y'all want to tell me.
Well, this whole process, I just felt so many different emotions. I've been angry, I've been sad, I've been crying, but most of all, I've been thinking about life and how this incident done affected both our families, mine and his. Here they are trying to fight for freedom. And my family and we're trying to hope that, he get denied any type of freedom at this time, because it's very detrimental to our family right now. We still feeling the pain, reliving that day each and every day, and I know they love their son, and I love mine too. We love ours too. He was 33 and I still kissed him, every time I saw him. He was a father of 6 kids, they're living without a father. So my wife and I, right now, we had to feel that void. They'll never recover, but we're trying hard to fill that void each and every day. He was so close to each one of his family members that it's uncle, I can't even explain it, and it was such a tragedy, such a tragedy, this incident, but they talking about freedom. And here we are talking about life, until we understand the importance and how precious life is. We cannot get to understand what freedom means. You know, one life was lost, and they're fighting for another one to get free. It don't seem right, you know, in my eyes, that the incident in question, whether they're questioning it or not, is still a life gone. And his parents and his sisters and everybody that was with him, that's the structure that he's going to be around, that didn't make a rational choice to substantiate the choice that he made. How is he going to come out now and make choices that befits life? It seems baffling to me that they can support that and know that this young man made a high-risk choice that took a life, you know? And that's the thing in question. And I don't know if the court's going to...
Lawyer?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm very sorry for your loss. And I will tell you, I couldn't agree with you more that he's not around a structure of family that would help him make the right decisions and to appear in court and do the right thing. Everything they did was wrong and was meant to subvert justice. And I find none of the witnesses credible. And so there's no way under the totality of the facts and circumstances for bond purposes that I can give him a bond. So I'm respectfully going to disagree with defense counsel and deny the bond based on the foregoing record. Mr. Dutcher, are you on the next case?
Thank you, Jehovah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
Mr. Dutcher, submit me an order, will you please?
Yes, Judge. And
Let's
I
go to
would,
Demontavious Franklin.
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm Amanda Young for Mr. Franklin.
Excuse me 1 second. Somebody's at my door.
while we're waiting on that, I would, just going back to defense counsel, if they are interested in making a formal statement, I would invite you to get in touch with me, and I can be more than happy to set that up with the detective Demister or at our office if you're interested in talking to me.
Is that on the other case?
Yeah, I was just following up with defense counsel and inviting him to contact me to further discuss the case.
Okay, I think that would be productive and appropriate.
Can I give him my email? I'll lose.
Can you all do that offline?
I'm not in
Judge
my
Schwall
office
has
or my computer, and I'd like to give it to him right now.
Judge
Yeah, you
Schwall
can
has
do that.
another hearing.
Just
I
send
let
me
him
a
do
So
it
direct
can you
message.
email it to him, please? Mr. Dutcher, I will send you his email address.
Okay,
Thank you, Ms. Woods.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
All right, thank you, counsel.
Okay.
All right, Demontavious Franklin, Ms. Young?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't have it. It's your motion for bond. It's a motion for reconsideration. Mr. Dutcher, are you on that case? Please unmute.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me what you know about the case, please.
Briefly, Judge, this is a July 6, 2020 shooting death of Anthony McGee at 2479 Abner Place here in Atlanta. It happened at approximately 12:04 a.m. The gist of it, and without having delved into it more deeply, but multiple people, including the accused and the victim in the case, are alleged to have entered that apartment complex dressed in hoodies and dark clothing, brandishing an assault rifle, under the theory that the alleged victim in this case had been robbed in that particular apartment complex or in that area while he was selling drugs a few weeks earlier. So according to witnesses, I believe even the victim's mom, he had gone back over there with the other parties seeking revenge. There was a shootout that ensued. The victim was shot and killed. I believe he had multiple gunshot wounds to the torso. And then another person, his brother, DeMontez Franklin, who I believe is a co-defendant in this case, was also shot, but he didn't die at the scene. He had injuries and there were weapons and stuff recovered at the scene. So essentially, from what I am gathering, that this would be a felony murder type of situation where they were engaged in some sort of assault or retaliatory shooting, and he died during the commission of that felony. So essentially, from what I understand, there's a beef or a dispute between the defendant and some other unknown group at this time in that apartment complex, and that there's shooting back and forth. And for that reason, I would think that there is a potential danger to the community, because this resulted in a shootout in a public place where multiple people were shot. And we know that there's always a possibility for an innocent bystander to catch a stray bullet in those circumstances.
But you're saying that the victim was one of the assailants?
From what I understand, yes. That he was part of the group that was going into this apartment
Because
complex.
he was going to get revenge for himself being robbed by selling drugs.
Correct.
All right, Ms. Young?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client, DeMontavious Franklin, is a 25-year-old Black man from the West End area. Although his community didn't always serve him well based on the crime levels there, Mr. Franklin has managed to stay out of trouble. He doesn't have a criminal history, and he managed to seek education or a college education at the Arkansas Baptist College University. On that day, Mr. Franklin had one intention, and that was to go in that neighborhood where his mother lives, where his dad lives, and other family members, to congregate and grieve the death of his brother, who had just passed the day before. Mr. Anthony McGee, the deceased in this case, he was also at the same apartment complex. However, they did not come there together. My client can't tell you what was on Mr. McGee's mind or whether he came for retaliation. He just knows that he came for the purpose of congregating with his family. As far as the Ayala factors are concerned, Your Honor, he's not a flight risk. He grew up in that region. He graduated from Frederick Douglass High School, and he's involved in a mentoring program called Unity Network Counseling with Dr. Lee of Dr. Stephen Lee of the Fulton County DA's office. And Dr. Lee, I've spoken with him personally, and he's written a letter to that effect that he would take on the responsibility of making sure.
The allegation is your client stormed this apartment with a gun.
A gun was not found in my client. The gun that was found was a registered gun of the deceased. No gun was found in my client.
Is the allegation, Mr. Dutcher, that the defendant participated in the shootout?
That's my understanding from the reports that I have reviewed, and it's also my understanding that while there were three, or more than three, this particular defendant was not shot, and I don't believe was located on scene. How he was apprehended, so of course there wouldn't be a gun recovered from him, because I don't think he was caught in the act or actively on the scene. There was some video footage that was later used to identify some of the perpetrators that were entering the complex. There were more people that had entered at the same time, all wearing dark clothes and carrying an assault rifle. This defendant was actually identified from the video by his father, and he identified, I believe, three of the defendants.
Did this defendant have an assault rifle?
No, and I'm looking at the police report right now, and I don't know if Your Honor is privy to it, but it reads that there was an assault rifle found on the deceased as well as the female co-defendant in this case.
Well, I assume, Mr. Dutcher, all were charged with felony murder because they were committing a felony and a death occurred?
Correct.
And that's the state's theory. However, I don't believe there is no evidence to show that they were in the commission of an aggravated assault. The state gathered this theory based on the defendant or the deceased having that assault rifle or a gun on his possession, and the wearing of mask.
So is this defendant wearing a mask in the video?
He's wearing.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen the video. I've spoken with Detective Thomas. He's the main detective, and he is not opposed to a bond. He says that my client has on a disposable mask that we wear for COVID-19.
Well, let's do this. If you're telling me the lead detective's not opposed to a bond, I want to hear from him or her.
Okay.
And so,
well, I will say this, Judge.
Detective Pat?
One at a time.
I have not spoken to the detective on this case, but I can do what I can to make it.
Ms. Woods? give them 15 minutes in the near future on this case. Okay, we'll reset it for 15 minutes in the near future.
Okay.
Okay, I want the detective. That concludes my criminal count. I'm gonna go to my domestic calendar. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
Mr.
sir.
Dutcher, how long will it take for you to get that?
Well, I've got to call him and see if he's available and